you ever make mistakes? If so, don't worry, so do I. And in today's video, we're going to look at 3 ways that you can turn your mistakes into life lessons that'll help you and others for many years to come. Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Jon Moore, and in today's video, we're looking at 3 ways that you can take mistakes and turn them into positive things that you can use for the rest of your life. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and let me know in the comments. And if you like these videos and other videos about money, motivation, and more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of future videos. Now, in my first video, I mentioned the fact that as an entrepreneur, generally you run into problems and you're going to experience failure. Now, it may have sounded a little bit negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I was simply bringing out the fact that mistakes happen in anything you do. Now, it's not so much about making mistakes. The point is you need to learn how to use those mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and never have to make those mistakes again. So that's what today's video is about. Thanks again for joining us. Let's get started. Point number 1, the first thing you need to know about mistakes: don't ever beat yourself over the head for them. You're going to make mistakes, like I said. Everybody does. It's human nature. But when you're beating yourself over the head constantly, instead of learning from those mistakes, you tend to create a negative experience for yourself and for those around you, because you look back on those mistakes and all you can think about was the mistake itself. Now, mistakes, yes, they're always a mistake is something you did wrong, whether it was at work, whether it had to do with something completely different, whether it was in a relationship. It doesn't matter what aspect of life. But for me as an entrepreneur, I've made tons of mistakes. As a matter of fact, just recording this video, I have made so many mistakes, I've had to hit the record button I don't know how many times. But that's not the point. The point is, when you make a mistake, don't hit yourself over the head from it. Go ahead, look at that mistake, and then use that mistake as a springboard to not make that mistake again and to go forward. But if you are focusing on that mistake and beating yourself up over it, you're not going to be focusing forward. You're not going to be going forward, and that mistake is going to begin to define you. It's been said that if you do not learn from your mistakes, those mistakes tend to become regrets. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to have regrets. So point number 1, don't beat yourself up for your mistakes. Point number 2, do something about it. Many people, when they're focused on their mistake, that's all they do is focus on their mistake. Now, it's good to focus on it to see where you went wrong, etc. But if that's all you're focused on is the mistake itself, you're never going to learn from it. The way you learn from your mistake is when you look at it and you see, this is how I could have done it, or this is how I shouldn't do it, and if I would have done it this way, it would have been even worse. You can learn so many things just from looking at one mistake you made. And that mistake is already made, so you can't go back and unmake it. But what you can do is you can take that mistake and prevent future mistakes, and also develop better ways in the future to do things the right way. So, number 1, don't beat yourself up for the mistakes you make. Number 2, do something about it. Learn from the mistake. Take action that will prevent that mistake in the future. Don't let that mistake become a regret. And point number 3 in learning from your mistakes, and this has to do not just with learning from your mistakes, but when it comes to learning in general, one thing you always have to do is be willing to use your experiences to teach others. So when you've made a mistake in one area, be open about it. Share it with others. Don't beat yourself up. If you're beating yourself up, you're not going to want to share it. But if you realize that was a mistake I made, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to go forward and do it right the next time. Then you can see someone else who's coming along the same road you are, whether it be in entrepreneurship, making money online, at school. There's so many aspects of life you can apply this to, where once you've made the mistake, you've already made it. You've already gone through the experience. And you can use your experience to help someone else not have to go through that same experience you did. And if more people would do this, there'd be so much more help out there for people, and people would be making so much fewer mistakes. On this YouTube channel, my first video, I made a mistake. I put my iPhone straight up. I didn't know it would put black boxes on each side of your video. Guess what? I made the mistake. It was my first ever YouTube video. What can I say? But I went out there And I got some constructive criticism from other YouTubers, and they said, all you have to do is turn your camera sideways, and you won't have that problem. And guess what? Simple fix. Now I don't have that problem. I learned from that mistake. I didn't beat myself up over it. I could have said, well, that's a terrible video now because I did it wrong. Let's go delete the video. No way. It was my first YouTube video. I was learning how to do it. Now I'm learning more. That's how mistakes work. So if you take nothing else away from this, just realize you're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. It's not the mistake that matters. It's how you learn from it. And if you apply these 3 points that we pointed out from this video, your mistakes are going to become helpful to you as opposed to something negative or as those regrets that we've mentioned previously. So, go out there, make mistakes. You're going to make them, but learn from those mistakes and use those mistakes to better your life and to help others. If you made any mistakes recently, share them with me in the comments. Let me know how you learned from them. I'll be willing to talk to you, to share my mistakes with you, and together we can use the mistakes we've made as springboards to a better future. And that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and we'll be back with more videos in the future. Money, motivation, and more coming your way in a few. See you guys.